We are back with another episode, Nevada and I, the world's number one motorsport podcast. We can call it that because there's not a number one out there anywhere else currently. So I'm gonna roll with that. Today I think we're gonna talk about a little bit of NASCAR news. NASCAR is gonna be starting up very soon. I guess some preliminary stuff has kind of been rolling. Sponsors have been getting announced. Drivers and teams have been getting announced. All sorts of crazy news. Even Kyle Busch got arrested. Here was it this past weekend, carrying a handgun, uh, trying to leave a Mexico airport. No, that seems a little risky.
Yeah, I mean I guess it did come out yesterday and they released a statement
Yeah,
23 hours ago it said. So I don't know quite what it all entails, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be good. It said 3 years in jail possibly, but I doubt that'll happen obviously, but I don't know.
yeah, probably not.
Famous people can get in that much trouble. You'd think somebody would be like, "Oh, hey, don't do that."
Yeah, I mean, even though you have your concealed carry permit, I don't know if that's what I would be doing when I'm in Mexico, but that's my own my own opinion. It says here discovery of the handgun led to detainment while the situation was resolved. Um, he wasn't aware of the Mexican law and no intention of bringing a handgun into Mexico. Yeah, I mean, I think those are kind of things you should know before you go to Mexico, since the crime rate is super high with the cartels and stuff.
Yeah, you can't be unvaxxed and go to Mexico, but you can bring a lock with you.
Yeah, probably a pretty bad mistake on his front, but oh
That's
well. Yeah, but
some NASCAR people would say couldn't have happened to a better guy. So
yeah, yeah, he's one of the old vets anymore, so
he's a very polarizing figure. People either love him or they absolutely despise him. So there's no like in the middle like some of the other guys.
right. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess just from reading it, it was dumb. I don't know. Like you're saying possibly 3 years. That's wow, that would suck. But I don't know. He's a pretty big public figure. They always find a way to get those kind of people out of jail.
I mean, if you look at the other side, it's going to be a big hit. You know, he's got a new team this year.
Yep.
Richard Childress is trying to get all new sponsors for the 8 car and kind of a whole new number font and like at the Clash, Austin Dillon got second, Kyle Busch got third. So like Richard Childers had a good running there, and I think they have pretty high hopes from that season, having two pretty good drivers in both cars and
Right.
trying to get sponsorships for continuing throughout the year. Because like a lot of sponsors aren't necessarily locked in for the whole year. Like I mean, some jump on board as they go. Maybe not so much like the bigger teams like Hendrick and Joe Gibbs and stuff. Those are pretty locked in, but you know,
Right.
it used to be like the team with Dale Earnhardt and stuff, but I mean, they're definitely kind of moved down on the tier of teams now, I would guess.
Yeah, and I don't know the exact number. I was gonna look it up, but from what I've read in the past, it's super expensive to run a NASCAR team. I mean, pretty much impossible without big name sponsors. So I don't know.
I
No.
don't know what the numbers are now with the new car. I know that it's expensive to like get the charter and like to get the foundation of this new car is expensive, but like to run
Right.
it supposed to be cheaper than the old car. But I haven't heard the numbers really. I don't know if they really know.
Yeah. I don't know. Just from some quick research here, it says it's about 150,000 per race to maintain a car. So if you got some of these bigger teams with
That's
multiple drivers,
That's how much it costs to run the car. That doesn't cost like to build the car or any of
just
that stuff.
says estimated cost per race to maintain. So yeah. Yeah, well, and here it says it costs about 200,000 to run a single race.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't
Yeah.
know. You got some of these, with four drivers. I mean, you're talking almost $1 million a weekend.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what primary sponsor. I'm sure it depends on the driver and the team, I guess. But I want to say like 500,000 or something for the hood, or some ridiculous number. It might even more than that to be your primary. But
Right. All right. Who's your favorite driver?
now I don't really know. I like watching it. I guess I don't really.
Yeah.
I mean, Harvick probably, whether that's just because of Bush Light or he took over Dale Earnhardt's car, I'm not sure, but he's kind of not as good anymore and kind of on his way out. So
Sure. Yeah. Well, he's not in anymore either, but I used to be a big Casey Kane fan when I was younger. I
yeah,
think it was probably the Dodge thing, but I don't know. That's who I was rooted for.
I've always been a Stuart Haas guy. Like I liked Tony Stewart back in the day, and then
Yeah.
Clint Boyer quite a bit because he didn't really care. And then Kevin Harvick, well, he's always really good.
Yeah. I see Larson, he still made top five.
Yeah, and like on Larson before he went to Hendrick, and I still do like him, but of course now he was really good. So everybody's like, "Oh, Larson." So if you say that, oh yeah, I bandwagon. But like back when he had ran 42 for Ganassi, he would always just run the outside every single race, and it was so awesome. So like I liked him too. I still do, but
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
the
even the I guess you could call it the one of the biggest highlighted drivers last year just due to what he did. Mr. Chastain, Ross Chastain. He even made the top 10, right above Hamlin. So I don't
yeah,
know.
Ross is up there. I like watching him. I don't know. I just like watching it, and I like the storylines, and I like the ins and outs of the sponsors and stuff. So I don't know.
Sure. Yeah,
I'm not a guy rah rah. He's my favorite, I guess.
right. Yeah, well, Trackhouse has an office, Trackhouse Racing, who Chastain races for. They have
Yep.
an office down in Nashville, so I don't know. We're headed down there this weekend. I've had no luck, so if anyone's listening and knows them down there, I've been trying to get a hold of them. They have some ties with one of the more iconic bars down there, or probably the most, which is Tootsie's. Um, I believe the owner of Trackhouse is he has
Yeah.
like some sort of entertainment business that kind of ties together with that Tootsie's bar down there.
Yep. Um, what's his name? Shoot.
Mark.
Yeah, Justin Mark.
Yep.
Yeah, he used to race way back in the day, and he had his entertainment deal and then made enough money, and now he has a NASCAR team, and they do things differently than everybody else, and it's kind of fun to watch and follow them. I think
Yeah.
they're gonna be teams this
Yeah.
weekend. They're gonna try to get like an IndyCar guy. I can't remember which one. I can find it quick. They're
Yeah, they're
gonna try to.
making big moves. I think Trackhouse is one of the only, if not the only, racing factory that doesn't have they aren't headquartered in, is it North Carolina? So I think everyone's headquartered in North Carolina as far as NASCAR goes.
Yeah, because Front Row moved to there. They used to be out of Colorado when Mark
Yep.
Truex drove.
Yep. Yeah, and then you got the weird twist of Pitbull being a co-owner with Trackhouse. So
Well, and then oh man, I'm so bad at names. The boxer. Oh shoot, Floyd Mayweather.
oh yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
got it.
Mayweather. Yeah. Yep. He's
Money.
on yeah, he's a part of a
They're a
team.
small team. They were on like Daytona, Talladega, because those are the I don't want to say cheapest races to run, but they're the highest chance of winning and have the most exposure just because the restrictor plates and everything. The cars are more
Right.
even. So like kind of a no-namer has a good chance of qualifying and getting in and then racing, where some of the other ones are a lot tougher. So like you'll see, like Travis Pastrana is going to try to qualify. Jimmy Johnson's going to try to qualify a car. Connor Daly, he's an IndyCar driver. He's going to try to qualify a car.
Yep.
And then Money Team's got two like IndyCar guys going to try to qualify a car. So that's so they got to get in either qualifying or they have to get in through the duels, finish top because they only take 40 cars, and I think there's 44 possibly to enter.
Oh, okay. So you only got to knock 4 guys off.
Yeah, yep. Because a certain amount, like the regulars, they're in automatically. The ones that have charters
Yeah,
and contingencies, and then yeah, there's like 7 or 8 that get in through the duels.
sure. Yeah, well, it's right around the corner. Everyone wants to race the Daytona, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, Travis kind of does it all. I mean, what hasn't Travis Pastrana done? I did watch a clip a couple nights ago, and back when I think it was Deegan speaking on behalf or about Pastrana saying, you know, Travis could have most likely been one of the most decorated motocross riders, but he completely took a different route, quit, went and did the freestyle thing, and then he started racing rally cars, and then kind of got into the nitro circus. He's like, it was at that time never done before. Now he's kind of showing everyone that you can be a multi-sport athlete. Doesn't really matter.
He was kind of one of the first ones that really went away or from like corporate motorsport stuff.
Yep, yep,
Like, so the way supercross and motocross used to be was like Suzuki and whatever the sponsors were, like Honda is like, no, you do
yep.
this, only do that. Well, he would want to do the freestyle stuff and like, I don't know if he was ever on like Doonies and stuff, like those old motocross freestyle videos.
I think he was, yeah.
So then he would do that, and they're like, "No, you can't do that." And he's like, "No, I'm going to do that." And then he just completely quit and started freestyle and all this other stuff.
Right.
And I think the corporate sponsors just realize that if you want his name, you're going to just have to let him do whatever and live with him, break his leg, and not, race and rallycross for the year or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just looking down here, he's going to be teammates with Bubba Wallace.
Yeah,
Uh,
23XL Racing is who so they're
yep.
gonna have a third car at select races. So that's Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin's team.
Right, right. Yeah, so him and Tyler Reddick. Yeah, it'll be interesting. They're
Yeah,
sponsored by Black Rifle.
yeah. So it's Matt Best coffee thing. So that's kind of which I think they sponsor a lot of his rally efforts and different things too. So like, I mean, they're definitely to his brand type of deal.
Right,
But like, it'll be interesting to see him in Toyota, and 23XL is kind of one of the top Toyota. I mean, it's Joe Gibbs and then them as far as Toyotas go. So like he's gonna
right.
be in a car. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
If he can put the times down, having the car.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough there too. Like the draft is so huge, and it's especially with these new cars, the way they lock together and stuff. Like he's definitely gonna have to be patient and stay in line. And but Toyota's it hurts them. Toyota it's hard at like restrictor plate tracks because they don't have the numbers, so they always
Right,
try to up with somebody. Or like Ford and Chevy have 15 cars, so there's always 3 or 4 of those cars around each other. Where I think Toyota only has like 8 or 9.
right.
It's just harder for them to get runs and get drafts going.
Yeah, it'll
So
be
like,
interesting to see if Travis can tame down his wild side and kind of tone it back, and maybe sit back and just race. You know, as we know, he's pretty radical when it comes to racing in most forms.
and I know they were NASCAR was testing like a smaller spoiler, but I don't think they'll have it for Daytona. They might have it at Daytona the next time this year, but
Yep.
be interesting to see how the aero package changes throughout the year on the cars. I think it'll be pretty much. I mean, this weekend will be pretty similar to the way the super speedways were last year, with tandems and everything. So I don't think there'll be anything too out of the ordinary, but I think maybe later on this year it'll be a lot more interesting.
Right. Right. Yeah. It'll be interesting. Does that start this coming weekend then? I believe.
So tomorrow is the first practice, and then I think Xfinity and trucks qualify tomorrow.
Sure.
And the duels are Thursday night. And then I think they qualify, or yeah, no, the cup cars qualify and then the duels. And then I think Friday's truck, Saturday's Xfinity, and then Sunday is the cup race.
Sure. Sure.
Next week, because the Super Bowl's this weekend.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Super Bowl's this weekend, so everyone's preparing for that.
No, the duels and stuff are this week, Thursday, and then they have like a whole week, I think, is how it
Right.
works.
Right. Yeah, that would make sense. They have time to get into it after this weekend for next week. Yeah, on a side note, Gold Rush registration was last week, Tuesday and Friday. Pretty much within 10 or so seconds, that was sold out. Pretty much as fast as you could click. I think it was pretty much gone. Anyways, for the bone stock teams, compacts took a couple hours, and qualifying, I'm not sure if they ever did fill up. I think they might still be open, but
Yeah.
regardless, the bone stock teams filled up and they had so much interest, they just opened up a singles class. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how long he'll wait to post the lists and stuff.
Probably quite a while.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know if I were him, just because.
Probably get his stuff sorted out and together. And I know I had messaged Sam to see if there's going to be some sort of waiting list. I'm sure, unfortunately, there's always one or two that can't make it, just whether it's family stuff, sick, yada, yada. So curious to see if there's going to be some sort of wait list option, um, for maybe people who weren't fast enough to get in. But it's be interesting, realistically won't have the full list until all these shows are over for the year because he's got that qualifying heat. So
Yeah, I've seen, those promoters that are going to have a qualifying shows for the national championship. They've been posting pretty hard here
yeah,
lately. But isn't Whiskey City? That's in March. So that's another month away. So I suppose after that, then the Gold Rush stuff will start speeding up a little bit.
yeah, he'll have to get through one show for the next one. Well, and then he has that. Is it in June, the Midwest Massacre or something like that? So yeah, he's got a couple shows to get through himself before Gold Rush. But yeah, it was. I guess I wasn't surprised to see it sell out that fast. I was disappointed not to get a spot, but happy that I don't have to worry about building and driving in the potential weather. I guess I just have to worry about drinking.
I saw your guys' Gladiators ones. I remember if it was Gumby or who was talking about it, and they're
Yeah,
talking me the weather is in South Dakota, and I'm like, all of South Dakota besides Rapid. I don't know if it's because where it is up on the, before you get into the hills and stuff, but it's always like 40. Yeah, you can get a ton of snow, but it's always like 40 degrees the next day there.
right. Oh,
Like,
hopefully that's the case. I don't know. I'll be there. I just won't be in a car, which is maybe all right. It's my birthday weekend, so plan to maybe party a little bit.
so I'm not too worried about the weather, to be honest, because I mean, we go there all the time in the winter and
Yeah. Yeah, but
cold.
people like us are going to be used to it compared to like someone from the south or whatever, east, west.
Well, I mean, Topeka is darn cold in November too, so maybe
Yeah. Is it our cold though? Maybe.
I don't I don't know if it's just because you're outside and it feels like it's way colder because you're outside for so long. That it's just like, oh, it's cold. Where
Right.
up here, you're outside for a little bit and then you're not.
Right. So
I don't know. I'm excited. I'm ready. I was just thinking of this today. Like, had a bunch of people message me the last couple of days for wraps and different things, whether it's for that show or just the summer or whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, Derby season. It's here. It's starting. Like we're starting to rip, with orders and different things. So I was like, it's ready to get going.
yeah,
Excited.
We added another show as of today. I don't know if I can officially announce it yet. Contract thing is going to get signed this afternoon, but I think that's going to be it for us. We're going to be slammed this summer. And then our car show stuff, we just kind of kicked all that info out all to all of our people that help support it. So there's a lot of news coming from our end here pretty soon too. It's starting to get to the stressful side of things because everything's starting to happen at once.
I know I was I got a couple more roof sign orders and I looked downstairs and I only got a few blanks left. I'm like, geez, I thought these are gonna last me, into the season a little bit, but I was like, I'm gonna
Right.
have blanks and get stuff lined up just to have them, which I mean, it usually doesn't take me too long, but I was just like, oof, I thought these are gonna last a little bit longer than they did, but a couple people got two at a pop and a couple team shows going on. I think you guys got a two-man somewhere, don't you? Or is that Austin? It might
Austin
be
must because we don't. maybe
Austin.
maybe in
So
the future.
yeah. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was one or the other, I guess, but so yeah. Doesn't take long, but I'm I don't know, ready for it to get going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice weather. Because like down here it's been 40 some degrees here for a week, so it's like let's get summer going here.
Right.
Well, it's not 40, but
Yeah, I hope it stays like this because we start calving in a couple weeks. So
yeah.
I uh I would enjoy this weather for that. So I was gonna ask you earlier, have you ever been to a NASCAR race?
Yeah, I went to Vegas one year. Oof, that's probably been 10 years ago now. I try to go back sometime, but
Yeah.
it's so hard because everything. I think Kansas is technically the closest, but of course Vegas is the easiest to go to. But
Yeah. I know my dad's been to, I can't even say for sure, three of them maybe, not maybe more, but I think Indianapolis. Is there one in Chicago? Maybe.
yeah, they have Chicagoland Speedway. Now there's gonna be
So,
road course in Chicago this year.
so I know he's been to a couple, and I don't know. Anyone you talk to that's been to a NASCAR race says it, the experience is awesome because on TV,
Yeah,
it's all right to watch, but after a point, it's like okay, yeah, depends how involved you are in it, I should say. But I've heard being in there in person, even people I know that are not into NASCAR at all have gone to like the Daytona 500 and stuff and said it's an absolute blast.
yeah, yeah. When we went to Vegas, it was awesome, but I'm definitely more into like I don't know. I try to watch the races, but it's not like, oh, the race is on. We gotta sit here and watch it all day. I'll try to for sure watch the last few laps. That's probably all I really try to
Right.
do. But like, I don't know. I just get more into like the news cycle of it more than anything. Like paying attention to teams and different sponsor stuff. That's part.
Yeah.
Kind of think Derby's almost the same way. Like once I figure out the team list for Gold Rush, I probably quit caring about it as much until that day. Type of
Right.
deal.
Right. Yeah. And kind of the cool thing about Gold Rush is they have a bunch of suites compared to like Kansas doesn't have that feature. So I'm kind of curious how those look and or are or how expensive or things like that. To be honest, that's what I'm looking forward to or at.
Yeah, I've heard some rumblings of some sponsor stuff. Like, the main sponsors are, obviously going to get the suites. I don't know how many there exactly are.
Well, yeah, it depends how many big sponsors he gets, but I think a good chunk of the suites will be for sponsors, but I think there's going to be some others open to maybe the general public. So I don't know.
Really? And
Guess I
I
got
would
to step up and sponsor it, huh? We got to make some more money on here. Maybe we can sponsor it so we have our own suite.
go down like Monday and start podcast that.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.